It really is like the longest intro ever, but that's what it takes. You got to put it out there for 2 minutes so that people can clue in and go, "Oh yeah, John Milkey, that schlep. He's doing something today that I should probably tune in for." And indeed, I am. Let me just bring her onto the screen right now. Ba-ba-da-da. Look how happy this human is.
Hi, John.
Camille Pilon is one of the two partners that runs the best burger place I have ever sank my teeth into. No forks given. Good morning, my friend. I miss you so much.
And we miss you too. It's so sad we're so far away now.
Well, I blame you squarely for that. But
I know.
Let's talk about this because I think you are such an inspirational story. So, in the middle of this pandemic, and all we hear about is restaurants and how brutally, this has happened to restaurants and this one's closing. You open up a food truck right around the corner from moi.
Yes.
And this thing just takes off.
Yes.
And then you see an opportunity to leave this successful spot and take the food truck business and turn it into instead a restaurant.
Yes, exactly.
And you ride it out during this pandemic and you're still up and running. You're still successful. You found an opportunity right in the heart of Ottawa U.
Yes, exactly. Still evolving, always moving.
Wow.
It was quite the experience, honestly, to be encountered with so much success and support so quickly. It was very incredible for us to move so quickly from the food truck set up to now a physical location right in the heart of the University of Ottawa on campus. We now have a full bar. It moved from just this small kind of burger shack, and now we're moving to a whole new kind of menu and all kinds of novelties. So it's
well, and that's the other thing. So you do have a liquor license, which I know for any establishment, you it's not like you just go fill out a form and they hand you your liquor license. I mean, there's a waiting period, right? You've got to prove.
Yes, there is. We were fortunate enough to be able to collaborate with the previous restaurant owner that was in this location. So we were able to kind of carry on their liquor license. They have a whole system behind it to avoid businesses being, in the process of waiting. So we were fortunate to be able to carry that on and transfer it into our name. So it's been a series of very lucky encounters and lucky kind of we kept our eyes peeled open and found opportunities, and we're fortunate enough to be able to jump on them.
So that was my first impression of you, and forgive me, your partner is Mark?
Mark.
Yeah. So that was my first impression of you, is just how assured you are and the confidence that comes out of both of you. And now Mark's background is in the restaurant business. Yours is not.
Right. So Mark's background is in the restaurant industry. Mine was, I studied psychology, so I wasn't necessarily planning in getting myself into entrepreneurship. I always had a great love for the food industry, growing vegetables and making food from scratch. And with the pandemic, we were at a point where we were managing a manufacturing company that my partner Mark owns, where we produce pop curds. And I used to, at the time, run the food truck, and I would do special events. So going from Blues Fest to Rock Fest to all kinds of festivals, we would kind of move around. But with the pandemic, we couldn't do that anymore because all the events were shut down. Nobody was gathering anymore. And so Mark and I had thought about the No Forks Given concept for 3 years. We had started a farm where we were hoping to grow our own vegetables and bring it to process it ourselves and sell it out of the food truck. But at the end of the day, the restaurant kind of took over quicker than the farm. So we jumped into the concept of No Forks Given like crazy. It's been nuts for us. It's been nuts.
In your opinion, what what made that take off so quickly? Because literally, the land was cleared. You're next to a car wash, so it's not exactly the most obvious spot. It's a very busy intersection, but
Very
it's not.
true.
From the street, it's not the most obvious spot where you would set up.
Right.
You cleared the land, you move the truck in, you open the doors, and I mean, there was a lineup
Yes.
right out of the gate. What do you attribute that success to? How did people discover you and fall in love with you? I mean, I know how I did, but what was the feedback you got? What was the impression you
It
got?
really was social media. It was being able to offer a service that made people feel safe. The opportunity of picking up food without entering an establishment at the time really made people feel safer in going outside of their homes and picking up food from an establishment, I guess. And the social media was incredible. We grew very quickly with our pictures, and we would do a lot of posts and share stories and kind of be very active there. But then what also gave us a huge push was our charity burgers, which you were the first one to participate and actually believe in the idea.
Love the idea. Still
That
love the
was
idea.
also a huge opportunity for us to be able to work with you and for you to believe in the project at the time.
I mean, it just speaks to the creativity and the cliche out of the box thinking, out of the food truck thinking, if you will. But you just strike me as this unbelievably, like, you just on a dime, you just have
Yes.
ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm lucky that I have a partner that doesn't, sometimes when it comes to creativity, we kind of feel like it's a bit crazy, it's a bit lunatic. We're in a pandemic. It's not necessarily the time to be, raising money for charities and stuff. But the more we would bring ideas forth, the more people would come out for those things. And we created ourselves a very cool, sorry, it's very sunny all of a
It
sudden
really
here.
is. I noticed the light change. Like,
I'm struggling with the lighting here. Yeah,
I'm
no,
also
we were
enjoying, by the way,
super fortunate.
it's my first time in your restaurant, so I'm getting a
Yeah.
virtual look inside your restaurant.
Do you not like the little light there?
I love
Isn't it
everything
cool?
about it. It's so cute.
Yeah, no, honestly, it's very interesting because it was just a question of putting ideas out there and seeing if people were responding to our ideas, and we just built a whole brand off of what our customer basis enjoyed and what we enjoyed, which is eating a good meal, sharing it with the people we love. And that's basically all we had for a good period of time with this pandemic.
Yep.
All we really had in terms of like pleasure sometimes was just having a good meal with your loved ones.
Comfort food, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Everybody loves a good comfort burger and fries and the presentation of it and the people you hired. I can't speak to the people you've got now. I can assume, based on the number of times I frequented the food truck side.
Yes.
But you hire very, very well. You hire young, very enthusiastic, upbeat, happy people, with just these disarming smiles who just genuinely, they instantly fall in love with your business. And I was saying this yesterday, talking about businesses and how, so often you walk into a place and whoever's working there, if you can even find somebody to work there,
Yes.
they don't have a vested interest in the business. They don't care if the customer's pissed off or if they're being ignored, whatever else. It's like, that's not the case when it comes to you.
No.
Like any person that I've ever dealt with at no forks given
Is a love.
It's like they own the place.
Yes, we really have a concept where the people that work with us, we're a team. Honestly, I always tell them that they are an extension of me when I'm not around, and I am an extension of them when they are not around. We
Nice.
have a lot of our customer bases that know all of us by name, that go and say hi to the kitchen workers. And we've established a system where every team member on the team will do both kitchen work and service. So they understand the ins and outs of the business in a way that's very personable.
Interesting. Where did you come up with that as a business plan? Because it's obviously something you thought this has to happen like this.
You know what? It originally came about because we needed to fix a specific issue, which was it's very hard to find people that are willing to work in kitchens. It is a very difficult task. It can be high pressured, and you're in the heat and you're sweating and you're
Oh yeah.
rushing to get people their food on time. And so I just started training my service people just to help me out because I was lacking the personnel to help me out in the back.
Okay.
And eventually they genuinely took a liking to it and enjoyed the versatility of their positions, where if they were wanting to take a break from the front, they could go in the back, help out in the kitchen, and vice versa. And so finding this kind of versatility not only kept our staff better informed about what was vegan, what is halal, how do you properly inform your customer base when they have dietary restrictions. Also, it helps them better sell the product because they fully understand what's in the product and the cooking process. So even the description of the food, they are now able to do in a way that is much more accurate and inviting to the customer. So we just started it that way, and now everybody is just happy to touch a little bit of everything at No Forks.
See, I especially love that because I worked at McDonald's when I was in high school, and I worked in the back, and they teach you, first off, you're the guy toasting the buns, then you're the person doing, dressing the burgers, and then eventually you move to the grill. But it's forever before you get a chance to work the front on the cash. Yeah. And vice versa. If you start on cash, it takes a while. No, we're talking 1986, 1987. But, then I look to my niece who just got a job at Harvey's, and they've got her doing condiments. That's her first job. No, you're just condiments.
Right.
You're just looking like that's all you're doing.
It makes sense for certain enterprises to do it that way. But for a small business, I don't need to have one person that is specialized in condiments. We can't really afford to have that many people on deck that specialize in just one thing. But at the end of the day, I think that both methods probably work. For us, we just enjoy the versatility. It's just so much fun. And it created such an understanding between what service means when you're in the kitchen. How can you better help your service team? And the service team also better knows how to help the kitchen team better document things, remember the questions that matter to the kitchen. So it's challenging sometimes because now you don't have a specialist in a specific field. Everybody touches everything all the time. But we're, like you said, my team is absolutely phenomenal. They genuinely care for this place. They genuinely care for the customer bases, the quality of the food. So we're just learning as we're going, and just grateful that we're in for a good ride. It's very interesting.
As a manager and as a business mind, that you have to realize that comes from you. That stems from you and your partner, Mark. Like there's a confidence and there's an attitude, or does that just? Who does the interviews? Do you do the interviews? And is that just sort of the connection point? That's just inherently, that's the kind of person that you find that ends up working in your business, that you make that connection and that's the right person. You bring that out of them.
Well, thank you for the compliment. I take that dearly. I think it's about personalities. When I enter a room, I do handle all the interviews with my manager, Amrian, who's been with us almost since day one.
Okay.
And it's more about the attitude that the applicants have when they apply. We're looking for people that speak passionately, that enjoy things, that are not just looking for a job, but they are looking for a sense of community, because that's genuinely what we bring here. I know a lot of their personal lives. All of my team knows of me and what I'm doing, and we have video chats where I explain new concept and new projects. We respect their schedules with school. If ever there's a hard week, we're very lenient with them. I think at some point it's also about understanding that we're working and we have a job to do and we have a business to maintain. Otherwise, we don't have a job and a business.
Sure.
But we're all humans at the end of the day, and we need to back each other up, especially in those times, you know?
Like you said, it can get hot, sticky, greasy, messy. It's kitchen work. It's not the sexiest job, but
no.
you can make it fun. And I mean, that for a lot of people, that environment has to be, like I'm going to get up in the morning and be excited to go in there ahead of, I don't know, folding jeans somewhere or reorganizing the shoes or, like.
Of course.
Yeah,
of course.
So, I mean, right from the get. So, and we're going to get to what's happening this weekend in just a moment. Camille Pilon is one of the proprietors of No Forks Given and our guest this morning on Let Me Just Say This About That. Instantly someone that I've just, pardon me, Mark, but I've fallen in love with Camille. I've fallen in love with you too, Mark. I've fallen in love with the whole business. I consider you to be fast friends. Like I feel like I've known you for a long, long time. And I've already learned so much just in little conversations with you. But how did you come up with this name? Because I think the name speaks volumes about, going in what you're in for. You're in for a fun time at a place called No Forks Given. And
yes.
you played up the whole F word, forks, in every menu item, in every conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from?
It just came to me in a way. In one sense, Mark and I had been in the pizza business, Mark for 15 years, I believe. And we came out of the pizza business feeling a little bit depleted, I guess. It's a very tough industry and the food has to be always perfect. And we would run and we were in a small town and the competition was pretty heavy. And so when we exited that side of business, we were kind of like needing to add back some of that humor and some of that positivity into a concept. And so for laughs, I was kind of like, we kind of have to have a concept that has no forks to give. And so we came to No Forks Given and thought it was so funny. And it just kickstarted, again, such conversation. Every single customer that comes in, they joke about it.
Yeah.
We connect over it. We can share, kind of like corny jokes. But at the end of the day, it puts a smirk on people's faces. And that's what we love. That's what I love from what I do. In the
short time that you've been in operation, both the food truck and now the restaurant, how many times, ballpark it, how many times has a customer said to you, and I know I've said it, but you do give forks.
And we do answer that for some people, we do give a fork about.
For some people.
You know what? We get it every day, probably 10 times a day. And if we don't hear it, yep. I have this team member, Josiane, who will literally ask, would you like a fork? And when the customer replies, yes, please, she goes, well, we don't have any, sorry. So she sets them up to the joke. It's very fun, honestly.
All right. So the food truck is, I don't know what became of it, whatever else, but you've moved your business you've elevated it to a whole new level. And I can't wait for a first time in a long time, I get to have a No Forks burger. And I cannot tell you, how excited I am about that. But I get to see the restaurant for the first time. I've been down to that. I'm not getting out much and I'm laying pretty low during COVID. But I did have occasion to be down. What the hell was I in that neck of the woods for a little while ago? But I messaged you. I'm like, I cannot find your location. So you're on Laurier Avenue East. What's the biggest landmark like right near you? Well, you're the old.
We're on the corner of King Edward and Somerset Street East. Right on the corner. So when you exit
Okay.
from the main avenue, when you
Yeah.
take that exit from the 417, it's straight down. We're right next to the University of Ottawa. I believe the main entrance to campus is right next to us.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
not down around where the football field is then. You're actually right up in the thick of things, like near the fire station, all of that stuff.
That's a little bit farther down the street. We're right in the middle, I guess, of both the football field and you know what? Put it in
How
the
did I miss it?
GPS, John. Put it in the GPS.
Well, I have to for Saturday. So BTR live on location Saturday, 10 p.m. is when you have me start. You know that's past my bedtime, right? And you have me booked till 2 a.m., which you know is way past my. That's my 2
Oh,
a.m. is.
it's way past everybody's bedtime.
Well, yeah, girlfriend. That's 2 a.m. is when I get up and have my third pee. During my REM sleep. That's.
Sorry, I lost you for 2 seconds.
I said 2 a.m. is about when I'm usually getting up for my third pee in the middle of the night. So.
Oh.
It's going to be different for me. But you're having a little Halloween party with your staff, with your customers, and with, you're inviting the BTR listener down as well. First question we have regarding your location. So it used to be a place called La Maison.
Yes,
That's where you
it
are now.
was.
And Chrissy wants to know if you inherited the jukebox.
I think I'm bugging.
She wants to know if you inherited the jukebox. Earth to Camille, come in, Camille. Hello, Camille, come in, Camille.
Am I back officially?
Are you back? Can you hear me now? Well, this bodes well. We're going to do a live broadcast from No Force Given, and apparently the Wi-Fi's wonky.
We're struggling here.
Can you hear me, Camille?
I can hear you fine.
There
Can
you
you
go.
hear me?
There you go. So note to self, I'm going to bring a really long wire so we can plug into your internet. So obviously there's some spots in that building that it just doesn't get to. Chrissy wants to know if you inherited the jukebox that was part of La Maison.
No, sadly that went with the owner. It left.
Aw. So I'll be your jukebox on Saturday night. So walk us through what is going to happen Saturday. You got a whole day. It's not, and this is a whole day. Like it starts way before we get there.
Right. So around 8 p.m., we're going to start hosting some pumpkin carving. I think everybody is going to enjoy getting their fingers in there and get all the seeds out. Hopefully we'll get a snack out of it too. We'll do some pumpkin carving first.
I hate pumpkin. I can't do that. It just, but I know I'm in the very small majority of that. But so many people love just that digging into the. I don't get it.
Oh yeah. You got to get in there.
So pumpkin carving, are you doing a contest around that?
We're going to start a contest between the staff members. So the customer bases are going to be able to pick who has the best costume within my team. We're hosting, the party is kind of an early 2000s music themed. So everyone is going to be dressed as a public personality from back then. For example, we're going to have Britney Spears in the house. We're probably going to have Pitbull, Spice Girls, all kinds of good stuff.
Kelly is, she says, as a BTR cheerleader, I don't know if that's her costume or not, but as a BTR cheerleader, she's picturing paper graffiti in the washrooms. She wants to she wants to post for a good time call, and then she's got our request line number 613-604-6464. So consider yourself warned, Camille. There's going to be you're going to be under attack. Yeah, no magic markers, please. As long as it's post-it notes or something like that, please. You're right in the heart of the whole Ottawa U thing, and of course, there's a game again tonight between the GGs and between the Ravens. What kind of impact did that Panda game have? Like, was that close to you? Did that affect your business at all? Were you scared by that at all, or?
It was a couple blocks down from where we are. We quickly became a safe haven for those students that did not wish to participate. It was kind of insane the amount of foot traffic we had on that day. But I think we were too busy to understand what was going out there. We only heard of the news later on in the evening, I believe, when we were close to closing,
Love it.
a few of my team members were scared to find their cars wrecked. Though when they were walking back to their vehicles, thankfully, no issues to report in the No Forks Given side of things. We had a dead town, though, for the following couple days.
Hey, John.
Everybody's like, hey, there he is. Get back on
I'm
the
in the
grill.
back
Man.
cleaning up.
Get back on the grill. Who let you out?
See you soon.
Can't wait, man. So that's Saturday, 10 p.m. is when we roll in. Well, we'll be there, obviously,
Yes.
set up. So pumpkin carving, etc. Then we're coming in with the music. You want to do some karaoke, you said. You want to do some trivia as well?
Yes, we're going to start the evening easy with trivia questions before everyone has had a drink or too much.
Right.
We want to keep the brains going.
Right. I may have to Uber to and from this because you've got your own version. My whole thing is Pink Whitney right now. That's my go. If I'm going to have a drink, it's either a Manhattan if I'm at a really, really fancy place, or my everyday is Pink Whitney. And you've got your own spin on that. What do you call yours?
Yes, we call it's Whitney B. Basically, we had some really nice raspberry lemonade, some glitters, a splash of lemon juice in there that we hand press every morning. Ooh. And it's just really nice. It sweetens it a little bit, takes away the little vodka punch that's in the back. And with the glitters, you just feel real fancy. So it's nice.
Right on. Question from Kelly. What is your restaurant's capacity? Because I think if I know Kelly, she's planning on packing the place.
Sounds good to me. We can host about 60 people in-house, so inside, indoors, and an extra 30 people on the patio. However, because we are in a residential area, we do need to shut the patio down at around 11 p.m. So the party will be indoors for the Halloween party.
So everything's indoors. I don't need to worry about speakers on the outside then?
Pardon me?
I don't need to worry about wiring up speakers outside and inside then?
No worries on that. No.
All right. Boo, but okay.
Boo.
Boo. We'll plan that for the spring.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Okay, so Saturday, do people need to buy tickets in advance for this? Or just reserve a spot? What's the process? How do they go about it if they want to be part of this?
Right now, we don't sell any tickets. It's a free entrance. It's our first event, so we're just trying to have a good time and gather people around and see what the outcome is going to be. But we do recommend doing reservations if you really want to come through, because we don't know how much foot traffic is going to be in the area. We currently have about 25 reservations or 25 seats that are reserved. So call us up and we'll be able to make a reservation for you.
My first time out of the house in almost 2 years. My first live on location easily in 2 years, and I cannot be more excited that it's at No Forks Given. You see what I fell in love with, right? I mean, the food is amazing. There's no doubt about that. But there's a personality, there's a whole vibe about the business that obviously comes from Mark, obviously comes from Camille, and it trickles on down right through the staff, right into. I mean, even when you get the food home, you're like, I just really enjoyed this whole experience, and I'm such a fan.
Thank you so much.
And I really miss. Can we talk on Saturday night about? Can I buy the food truck from you, and can I put it back to where it was? Because why can't you have both going on?
It can be arranged. We can talk some more.
Actually, I've got a business idea I want to float past you. There was a hint in there, by the way. So, cool. You're exactly the kind of person that would, I want to talk to you about this. And I have no business discussing the food business with anybody because I know nothing about it. Last question I have for you. So everybody's dressing up as like an early 2000s pop star. I know you said you've revealed to me who you're going to be. I'm stuck on this. I suck at costumes, Camille.
Oh, I envision Beyonce. Me
as Beyonce?
Oh, yeah. Oh, you have the fab.
Think you're ready for this, Jelly. Me as Beyonce.
No, we can talk some more. We can think about a few artists. I have a couple ideas.
I mean, I love her outfits. I can certainly rock the heels. Okay. Noted.
Think about it.
Noted. There's my friend Andre, drag queen extraordinaire, says I can help you become Beyonce. So it has begun. It has. All right. People already saying get on this book me a seat for 3. Blah 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 blah. What's the website, Camille?
Our website is noforksgiven.ca. You can go check us out there or find us on social media on Instagram at noforksgiven_catering or on Facebook, No Forks Given. If you send us a message on there, I'll receive it personally and I'll put in the reservation for you guys.
In fact, if you go to blasttheradio.com, look at the banner up right now, advertising the event. If you click on it, takes you right to their Facebook page, and you can message Camille. I promise you, she'll get back to you within minutes, typically. So,
absolutely.
Twitch. I don't know what's up with Twitch. Twitch is just not whatever. Anyway, we're on Facebook, I'm assuming. We're on Twitter, I'm assuming. And YouTube, I'm assuming, and certainly on blasttheradio.com. So I'm curious to know from you, what's the best costume you ever put together in your Halloween heyday? Also, what's the worst costume? Really? Facebook was not translating audio today as well? Huh. Do I restart the broadcast? I don't know. Oh, there's Camille. Camille's back. Hang on. There you are.
So sorry.
No, we both disappeared from the stream. I don't know what's going on.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I feel better that I wasn't the only one.
No,
so, sorry about that.
Internet bugaboos, apparently. There's no audio on some platforms right now. I'm hearing you fine. The radio station's hearing you fine. Twitch, Facebook, apparently. I don't know.
We'll take what we can.
Hopefully people can read lips, because this was a fascinating conversation we had.
Hopefully. It's a skill to develop, I guess, nowadays.
Thank you, Camille. I look forward to seeing you again on Saturday night. You are the real deal, and I really look forward to catching up. And I mean, gosh, playing some tunes, goofing off with you. That's awesome. Can't wait. Parking. Is there parking, on-street parking, I'm assuming, or
street
do you have
parking? And there are a few public parkings available down the street on King Edward, closer to Rideau Street, but also there's the Gigi's parking. Those are you'd have to pay for those, but street parking is free past 6 on the weekend, so you're good to go if you find a spot there.
Good. Okay. Just leave enough room for a big ass BTR truck. Apparently we do have sound on Facebook, so it's just Twitch being a pain in the ass again. I'll reset that for the listeners. Camille Pilon of No Forks Given. By the way, lunch. I know you serve lunch. I know you serve dinner.
Yes.
With the restaurant, are you planning a breakfast?
We are planning on dropping breakfast, probably though in the spring of next year. So not quite there yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can just imagine you do one hell of a breakfast.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're working on it. We're working on it. You know it.
I miss your face. Can't wait to see you on Saturday at No Forks Given. And again, the address is
191 Somerset Street East in Ottawa, right on the corner of King Edward and Somerset Street East on the campus of University of Ottawa.
All right. Can't wait to party with you, Camille. Thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're always welcome here. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So your best and worst Halloween costume. I'd love to hear about that. You can certainly post that in the comments of wherever you're watching. Or you can call us as well, 613-604-6464. I'd love to hear about your best and your worst Halloween costumes ever. We got a comment here. No audio on SC either. I have no idea what SC is, but okay, whatever. Yeah, I think part of the problem is I got to reorganize my morning. Because what's happening is I'm setting up the broadcast too quickly. I'm rushing to get into the studio. No sound on the website either. Hang on. That makes no sense. Oh yeah. Look at. Oh, I know what happened there. Hang on. I know what happened there when we lost the internet connection moments ago. It restarted on my main computer. Anyway, technical things. So I think what's happening with the audio issues, kids, is I'm walking into the studio last minute, and I'm like killing the feed on one thing and starting the feed on the next thing because I'm trying to just make it a flawless stop go thing, and it's not happening. So things need a little time. So I need to be more disciplined and get into the studio ahead of time, and that's just me having to reorganize things with when I drop my wife off at work and whatever else, because she works retail, right? So 9:00. Anyway, my costumes were always homemade, said Gracie. Yeah, but what was your best one? But what was your best costume? What was your worst costume? I'm not big into Halloween. I'm just really not big into the whole costume dress up thing. I mean, I like the candy aspect of Halloween, but I was just never big into the whole, like a lot of my friends, they always had really cool costumes. And I always felt like, I'll put it together last minute kind of thing. Now it's easy, right? You go into like a Party City or whatever else and you buy a costume for a couple of bucks and, hey, look at that. I'm Superman. Just like the 100 other kids in the block who went to Party City and got a Superman costume. But there was this one Halloween I decided I am going all out. I am going to work my ass off. I'm going to have the best Halloween costume that anybody on my street, on my block, in my hood has ever seen. And I went to the grocery store on a daily basis looking for the perfect cardboard boxes, and I built this whole robot costume. I had the big box around the center of me, the box for the head. I had created boxes for the arms, top and bottom, with a little bend in the middle, and I even attached them to it was like dryer vents so that they had the flex, and then the same thing for the legs. Painted the whole thing with like gold spray paint. Spent time like just infinite amounts of time in the furnace room spray painting this. Oh, it was a labor of love. Never once in the weeks leading up to actual Halloween day, not once did I even try the thing on to see if it would work. Come Halloween night, my friends are all waiting because I've been bragging. I'm going to knock you on your ass. This Halloween costume is so good. You just wait. You just wait. The damn thing, nothing fit, nothing lined up properly, couldn't bend my legs, couldn't bend my arms. I ended up back up to mom and dad's closet, and like there was a go-to. I guess there was a parade years earlier where my dad and I both dressed up as clowns. Now I was, probably 5 or 6 at the time, so now I'm wearing my dad's clown costume. Yep, that was bragging for weeks. Wait till you see what I've done. Wait till you see. And the damn thing ended up basically being garbage. Like it was such a letdown. Terry says the worst Halloween costume is when my brother and I dressed up as a horse. He was the front end and I was told to just be myself. Terry. For those who are not familiar with Terry, Terry is a bit of a comedian. Always posting the smart ass comments and stuff on any newspaper comment section and the little green comments as well. So there you go. What's the other news story? Oh yeah. Okay, how does this happen exactly? In Toronto, have you seen this? A couple of pilots in a small plane take off from an airport that would be on par with like the Carp Airport. The plane had just gone through its 100 hours checkup. No problems identified. Great, we're good to go. They take off. They're flying. And I guess, I don't understand. I'm not a pilot. I don't know. But anyway, they go to switch gas tanks from the left one to the right one. And I guess you go back and forth to keep the plane balanced. I don't know. But in that process of switching over, they lost power. And I guess pilots train for this. When they're up in the air, they're always scanning down below to sort of see, in a worst case scenario, where can I land? So they radio the tower. The tower's like, well, turn around and come back to the airport. And you're like, I don't think we're going to make it back. So they eyeball Highway 407 in the middle of Toronto. I mean, when you think of hydro wires, when you think of all those overhead signs that you've got on any 400 series highway, bridges, oh yes, and let's not forget cars. There are a ton of cars. And these guys put it down on Highway 407, didn't touch a hydro wire, didn't come near a bridge, or an overhead, like just the perfect ending to a really bad situation. How does that happen? I mean, that's incredible. I just think in terms of, when I, like, again, I'm not a pilot, but I certainly, I've been driving for a good number of years. Am I looking out for an airplane coming from behind me and above me? I don't know that I am. I don't know that I'm not. But I certainly am aware of just how many obvious things the average driver misses right in front of their nose. I mean, I would like to think that, I would, if there was a plane approaching the highway, like, my only, like the 416 to the 417 would be the only equivalence here. If I'm cruising down the Queensway and a plane is suddenly approaching because it needs to land in front of me, I'd like to think I would see that in the rearview mirror. I'm not so sure that everybody would, though. Between cell phones and distractions in the car, kids screaming, whatever else, eating a burger, having a drink, fiddling with the radio, trying to decide, do I put the heat on today, the AC on, whatever you're doing in the vehicle at the best of times. And like traffic just seems to have stopped and let these guys land. Unreal. Anyway, fascinating. Yes, I am aware that you have no sound on Twitch. The big news story of the day, there is no sound on Twitch. Again, I'm going to reset the whole Twitch thing. Can I even do this? You are live. Remove. Hang on. I'm going to add Twitch back. Bum, 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 bum. Save changes. Okay. See if Twitch comes back online now. Okay, Twitch people, let me know if you've got audio now. So that was absolutely insane, crazy. I'm completely thrown off balance now. No forks given, Saturday. There you go. That's where we are at 10 o'clock on Saturday. Coming up in a little bit, more talk with our friend Susie, the dating diva. What's she going to be talking about today? Hang on a second here. Let me get over to... Oh, we're back on Twitch. See, this is... Okay, so let's just take care of this then. This is what my fear is that I get into the studio last minute. I have to disable one broadcast and then enable the next broadcast. And I'm trying to do this seamlessly. I think I'm just not being patient enough in letting the Twitch feed that we run around the clock shut itself down before I fire up the other broadcast and it takes over. So there's obviously a little bit of a conflict there. We'll smooth that out in the days going forward. So yeah, Susie, the dating diva, is on the way in a little bit. Susie, we need to work you in as part of the whole, let me just say this about that, because her segment is so great. Are you single? Are you dating? Are you trying to up your dating game? Are you trying to make sure that your best self is out there for the world? Our 42nd conversation with Ottawa's most notorious dating coach, Susie the Dating Diva, coming up. Today, she's going to be telling you, giving you some tips on how to woo someone. Woo. Just love the whole idea of woo. There you go. How do you woo someone this day and age? We're going to find out. Kelly, and with the plane on the road, I like on water. I don't think he does pre-approach to inform drivers his intended landing path. Well, yeah, how do you can't like radio down to traffic. Look behind you. This is flight number B6423. We've declared a mayday. Please slow down so we can get on the highway ahead of you. Just absolutely insane. Crazy, right? What else is going on here? Stories that I've saved. Yeah, again, I'm running into the studio sort of last minute. Oh! New legislation in the province of Ontario. I'm curious to get your take on this. Ontario workers will soon be able to ignore their boss's email after hours. Are you a slave to your phone? Like I work for myself. So, I mean, I'm asking this. I think I've got a pretty good sense of just, how people, in today's age, like you're pretty much on the clock now 24/7, no matter what you do. Like your boss feels like they own you. Oh, it's just an email. It's just a text. Just a quick little thing. Just because, he or she or they have taken a moment of their own time to dive in and do some work at home, that, they feel, well, okay, we can, we just reach out to the staff and ask them a little thing and expect an answer right now. So there's a movement afoot to put in place legislation that says, for a company of a certain size, no, once your employee leaves, that's it. You cannot bother them. Nancy says, nope, 9 to 5 unless I get overtime for pager pay or there's a specific deadline and it's understood that extra is required. There you go. Yeah, I come from the radio business too, right? Which is around the clock, 7 day a week. Could you cover off a shift? Can we get you into the station? Something's going on in the city. We need extra, bodies in here to help cover this, whatever else. So I was always used to being on call and I thrived on it, but I totally get, how like, okay, you work in an accounting office, and the office is 9 to 5. That's, you go in from 9 to 5, you get your lunch break, you do your lunch break thing. But outside of that, like, why do I need to be able to contact you if I'm your boss at 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night? Enough of that. So, how do you feel about that potential legislation? Also, do you miss Don Cherry? I will admit I haven't really been watching much hockey in probably the last 3 years, at least. But the little bit of hockey that I have seen, when they go to intermission, and I was never really a big Don Cherry fan, but oh my God, the intermission is not what it used to be. With all due respect to whoever's doing it now. Ron McLean's still part of it, and he's got his panel, whatever else. It's missing that. Is it the tradition of it that I miss? Or is it the energy that Cherry actually brought to it? I don't know, but it just seems flat. It just seems like that's the best we can come up with to replace a legend who, granted, was fired. Well, Cherry's back in the media now because he's ripping on Toronto Maple Leaf player Austin Matthews about Austin Matthews' dressing, about the way he dresses. So, I mean, if you've been around hockey at all, if your kids are in hockey, if you played hockey, I don't even know where the tradition started, but players in hockey, unlike football, basketball, baseball, hockey players to and from the rink, they dress up. Typically it's shirt and tie. It's a respect thing. It's a long-standing tradition. And you would see, Ray Emery, right? I mean, he used to stand out because, that guy had flair, amazing fashion sense. Way ahead, the small C conservative, suit and tie. Well, Yeah, Don Cherry ripping someone for their wardrobe. That's rich. Yeah, well, yeah. So Austin Matthews, and it looks kind of weird. Shows up at a press conference. He's got a ball cap on and a big baggy sweater. It's very un-hockey player like. And Cherry's in the news now and being ripped for it. Like, who cares what Don Cherry has to say? Do you care what Don Cherry has to say? Especially when it comes to, players no longer putting on shirts and ties. I love the fact that he's so far on the outside now, but he's still stirring the pot on this. I think it's fantastic. Anyway, good for you, Don Cherry. All right, and in the other news, I'm sure you see it. I'm sure you probably are one of the people posting it. The cost of living in a city and it's going up and up and up and up and up. And oh my God, who can afford rents in Ottawa? By the way, what do you expect? You hear so many stories about, how hard it is to get a mortgage, how expensive mortgages are. Well, yeah. Why would a landlord rent you a place for less than they're paying in their mortgage? I mean, you really can't have, if my mortgage is $2,000, just for the sake of argument, why am I going to rent to you for $1,000? Doesn't make sense. If my cost as a business person so let's take Camille and Mark, for example, at No Forks Given. If their cost on a burger, let's say, is $4, why would they sell it to you for $3? Anyway, the National Post has an article about the most affordable and least affordable housing affordable cities in North America. All right, the least affordable cities. Ottawa's on the list, by the way. This is North America, by the way. Number one least affordable city to live in North America is Vancouver. Number two on the list, Boise. What? Apparently, Boise is a very expensive place to live. Okay. When's the last time you heard somebody talking about Boise? Right? Well, there you go. Toronto coming in third, by the way. Most expensive housing. Portland is in there. Hamilton. Las Vegas. I used to go to Vegas every 6 months or so. And yeah, you start thinking, am I better off buying a place because I'm coming here so often? And I look at the housing prices in Vegas and go, it's not terrible. But there it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6 on the list of most expensive housing in North America. You got to figure with, the NFL moving in there, the NHL moving in there. That's probably, there's been an onslaught of multi-millionaires looking for housing in Vegas the last little while. San Jose is on that list. Los Angeles right behind them. And then Ottawa. Behind Ottawa, Tampa. So there you go. Most expensive places. If you think Ottawa's expensive, you're right. Right between Los Angeles and Tampa. How crazy is that? Okay, now housing affordability. If you can't afford Ottawa anymore, where might you be looking to move? Most affordable town in North America. Chicago. How is Boise the second most expensive and Chicago cheapest place to live, North America? That's a pretty awesome town to be in. I've not been to Chicago, but everything you see and hear about it, that's a pretty cool place. Number 2 on the list, by the way, Quebec City. I could happily live in Quebec City if it weren't for the politics. I invested a whole lot of my youth learning French, immersing myself in Quebec culture. Love it. Can't stand the politics. Columbus. So Chicago, Quebec, and Columbus, and Edmonton, and Atlanta, and Winnipeg, and Raleigh, and Dallas, and Calgary, and Nashville. Those are your go-to cities for most affordable housing. Chicago, Quebec, Columbus, Edmonton, Atlanta, Winnipeg, Raleigh. Raleigh's a great town. Dallas, Calgary. Do you ever think you'd see Calgary on that list of affordable housing? Whew. Years ago, I was offered an opportunity to go to Calgary. I had just bought my first house in Ottawa about 3 or 4 years earlier, so I was, not looking at renting anytime soon. I was quite happy to have an investment in my portfolio of real estate, and I worked really, really hard to be able to get to a point where I could actually buy a house. Some wedding money certainly helped in that, but I was not going to be renting. But that's what was suggested. When I would look at the housing in Calgary, I'd be like, I can't find anything similar to this in Calgary unless, what did I pay in Ottawa? I think I paid at the time $108,000 for my place. And anything similar in Calgary was going to be twice that. Oh, yeah. You're crazy to look at real estate here. Just rent. No, don't want to rent. And there's Calgary, one of the most affordable cities to live in now. Gorgeous place, too. Can't go wrong in Alberta. Anyway, there you go. Let me just say this about that. Couple of hiccups here and there that I will work on smoothing out, but nonetheless, there we go. Coming up, Susie the Dating Diva. How to woo someone. Look forward to that. Let's get you going. Some Black Eyed Peas in just a second. Join me for the music on blasttheradio.com. And if you are so inclined, come out and party with us Saturday. No forks given. Party starts at 8 with pumpkin carving. Yours truly taking over at 10 o'clock. Thanks for hanging out. Let me just say this about that.